What's the worst thing that you think nature can do to you? Well, think again. If you think you're immune to that kind of lifestyle, you're not. There's the whole host of critters that can have a very similar effect on us as humans. Yes, mind control as a lifestyle. Also, a parasite is something that ultimately does not end its host, but a parasitoid is something that eventually does, and there's some interesting zombies in the middle. But if you want a fun fact, parasitoid wasps were actually my very first research area. Also, I've run into some of the best titles for a paper that I've ever seen. Who is the puppet master? Some wasps use a newly discovered virus to control the mind of a ladybug. They'll lay the eggs inside and they'll slowly develop, making sure to miss vital organs. Then it'll burst out of the ladybug, but it doesn't stop there. The ladybug is unable to move and will jerk and attack any predators that might come near it. It's thought that other critters think that something that behaves this way is either poisonous or something is seriously wrong with it, and it is. But it doesn't stop there. When the pupa grows up, becomes a wasp, and flies away, the ladybug may survive the ordeal. Most of them will have severe neurological deficits. Some will actually recover. We did not know much about the nervous system of insects recovering because they live pretty short lifestyles. Ready to be posted again, which honestly sounds like the worst luck. It gets worse. Some wasps will lay their eggs inside of caterpillars. The developing wasps will then eat around all of their vital organs, but there's good reason for it, because once they are laid, I use that term loosely, the cool thing about these guys is that a couple of them stay behind, and it's actually the ones that live inside of the caterpillar after the other ones have been laid that mind control the caterpillar. Apparently they are necessary, and they never leave. This is a form of altruism. They control the caterpillar and force it to fend off predators, and they sacrifice themselves so their siblings can live on. In this case, the caterpillar never survives. It ends up starving. Yeah, it's pretty horrifying, and probably has to do with hormonal manipulation. For some wasps, they'll actually do a kind of brain surgery on roaches. They'll inject venom in a very specific spot in the brainstem of a roach. The wasp will then lead the roach into a chamber where it lays its eggs on the roach. It'll seal it in with pebbles. From there, the larvae will slowly burrow their way into the roach while it's still alive. There's also some wasps that like to hack into the internal coat of spiders. It's probably hormonal, but once the eggs are laid inside of the spider, they then make a home for the baby wasps. They'll make an unusual form of web that is like a soft little home for the baby wasp as it grows. Of course, the spider is lunch, but we don't know how these things evolved. We aren't entirely sure how the mind control is conducted. We can see the effects of it. These are very complex behaviors for an insect to take on because another critter developed venom in order to get it to perform these tasks. I'm thinking of turning this into a series if you guys want to learn more. Just remember, you are not immune to mind control from the microbial world. For that matter, we're not even immune to mind control from the parasite world. Though one of the best mind control bugs is Toxoplasma gondii. It makes mice romantically attracted to cat urine, but it also increases dopamine in our own brains, so having a cat could make you happier in more ways than one. I also have a theory that the reason that antihelmintic medications, like, antimalarials, have psychoactive effects that make people aggressive because they're also effective on Toxoplasma gondii. That is not proven, it's just my own theory. But yeah, there's rabies, which causes you to not be able to swallow and salivate. It lives in your saliva and makes you highly aggressive. For some animals, it'll make them calm and peaceful and maybe walk up to you and look to be pet. It controls your mind and body to get you to spread it. We can keep on going. Zombies are real, but they mostly afflict insects, and when it happens, it's not pretty. These are some of the most horrifying lifestyles that you can imagine, and it kind of makes horror movies make sense when aliens lay eggs inside of people and control them, because that does actually happen to a lot of animals. I studied viruses that are beneficial to their first host, but harm their prey.